my name is Kristen McCauley, and I'm here with my co-host Emma Medina.
Today, we're going to be interviewing Bridget Monteith, a York High School alumni who graduated in 2019, about her time at YHS and life after graduation.
Hi, I'm Bridget. Super happy to be here.
So our first set of questions is going to be about your time at York. So with that being said, what is one of your favorite memories that you've had at York High School?
Ooh, that's tough. Um, with Mr. Rosenberg, it probably had to be my time in team. Um, we had a really, really great group of students, and it was a really nice time to always reset in the middle of the day. But one of my favorite memories is when other kids would try and come hang out at our team, and their teachers would get upset and try and come get them. And one time, this girl, Jessie, hid in the closet from her teacher, and that lives in my head rent free to this day.
That's amazing. And it's funny that you say that because that still happens to this day. What class do you believe was the most beneficial to you that helped you get to where you are today or helped you figure out your path or your major in college?
I'm not sure if it was any specific class, but I definitely think that some teachers were really important. um, Mr. Rosenberg being one of them. But also, there's a teacher, I don't know if she's still there, but her name was Julie
Oh,
Johnson.
yep, she's still here.
And okay, awesome. Yeah. She taught an English class that I was in, and she really helped me believe in my creativity and just ability to express myself through different mediums, especially with poetry and all different kinds of storytelling. She had us do this project where we connected an essay to a little video, and that's kind of what sparked my interest in media and creating through technology. So that definitely has played a role. Yeah.
And if not, what class would you recommend being put in?
Oh my gosh. I really just wish that there was a class that talked about taxes and I don't know, just different adult things like budgeting and building credit and just life skills that are really relevant right after you graduate.
I agree because I feel like after you graduate high school, I'm waiting for that shell shock to just be like, what do I do now? You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think college helps kind of the transition into the real world, but it can feel pretty abrupt for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, our next set of questions is going to be about your life after YHS.
So, where did you end up going to college?
So initially, I went to the University of Maine at Farmington. It was the only school I applied to while I was at York.
Wow.
Um, Yeah, I kind of saw everyone around me getting super duper stressed out about the college process and just a lot of weight being put into what school, what name, the reputation, and whatnot. And I went to UMF because I didn't really know what I was looking for in a college, and it was affordable. And yeah, it helped me narrow down what I actually was looking for when I did end up transferring to the University of Southern
That's
Maine.
awesome how you went there and everything and you found that you know what, this isn't the best place that I could succeed fully, and it's awesome that you were like, all right, let's try somewhere new.
Yeah, absolutely. I There were a lot of elements to the school that I did enjoy. It honestly helped me realize that I wanted to change my major pretty early on, and I don't know, there's a lot of value in going somewhere that isn't the right fit because it just helps inform where you want to be next, I
Exactly,
guess.
no, definitely. So, how was the transfer from UMaine to USM?
Mm.
Especially during COVID and everything too.
Yeah, well, that was a big piece of it. I probably would have continued at UMF if COVID didn't happen, just because like I became an RA my freshman year, and I like had created a really nice group of people. I was working on a bunch of different like little committees, and it was great. But COVID happened. I got relocated like a bunch of other people. I ended up back in New York,
Wow.
and just finding a program that was closer made more sense, especially with so much uncertainty. Um, and USM also already had dabbled a little bit with online school, so it just made sense to try. They were really helpful with getting me settled, even though I still have not set foot on campus to this day because all of my classes have been
Really?
online.
That's
uh,
that's so funny.
yeah, it's a lot. I found pretty quickly that, I don't know, online school, as I'm sure you guys know, can be super duper
Oh
draining.
yeah. And then honestly, you're just like, I don't even see the point in this and everything. And it's just, I don't think it's beneficial to a whole lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think that my professors and all the teachers that I still have been in touch with were definitely doing the best with what they had. Um, it just, it does get hard to justify going online and writing a discussion post while I'm paying like $1,000 for a class that I'm
Exactly.
like, yeah, I'm like teaching myself in. So I don't know. It got tricky. I did pretty well like the first 2 years. And I kept like my 4.0, and then I just like started slipping because the online school, like, it just wasn't worth it to me anymore, and I started losing that motivation and drive for what I was studying, which definitely was tricky.
I know. And I'm proud of you for sticking with it and keeping your grades up and just kind of trying to make the most out of the situation. So, applause to you, girl.
Well, thank you just so
Yeah,
much.
of course. So how was your process with leaving home? Because you mentioned you like wound up back in New York. So how was that process like leaving home and then just kind of like staying home and still trying to focus on your schoolwork and everything?
Oh, that's a big
Yeah.
question. I think that it was tough leaving at first because you're going into uncharted
Mhm.
territory. I remember the first 2 weeks of college feeling like a big sleepaway camp, and it was just kind of like waiting for my parents to come pick me up. And then you got used to it, and then it's like, I think for a lot of people, your relationship to home and your parents really changes. A new perspective is given by like that distance that you have, and so
Definitely.
sometimes you can see things a little bit clearer. um
You think that your
Going back,
relationship got stronger with your parents and like your family and everything?
I'd say that now ultimately yes, but moving back home through COVID was really hard because, as I'm sure you guys know to some extent too,
Mhm.
everyone was basically in the same place, like all at home,
Yep.
and it's just, yeah, it's hard for, I think, any family,
I agree.
even friends, yeah, to be that close all the
Yeah,
time.
definitely. You kind of get sick of each other after a little bit, but you know.
Yes, absolutely. But I think that blood is thicker than water at the end of the day. And after moving back out into an apartment, my relationship to my parents has never been
Oh,
better.
that's
So
awesome. Well,
that's
that's
great.
really glad to hear.
Yeah.
What is a piece of advice that you would give to incoming college students?
Ooh, I think I would have to say stay really open minded.
Mm.
And don't think that you know everything. um, because I think it's really easy when you start learning, especially about things that you're actually interested in. You want to like cling to that and prove to people that you're growing, you're becoming an adult, you have your own original ideas. And while that's so important, sometimes when you cling to that, you can close yourself off to all these opportunities for growing and learning around you, even from your peers. And that's so much more important than being perceived as someone who's smart and who thinks about interesting stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree with you 100%. And I feel like people, like you said, like they do kind of cling to like safety and like normal things because like as like humans and everything, none of us really like change. So I feel like, and especially college, I feel like is one of the like major like life steps or major change in your life. So I feel like people definitely, as they're exploring new places and everything, definitely do cling to like what they're familiar with.
Absolutely. And there's definitely that's definitely important to do, you know, so you're not just like out in an abyss of unknown.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's definitely good to not pretend that you know what's going on, and it's good to front load to other people and use your humanity to be like, hey, I don't actually know what I'm doing and what's going on, how are you
Yeah.
feeling? And then it's easier to cut through that illusion and connect to people when you're being honest with yourself and
Yeah.
others.
That's awesome.
Okay, so our next set of questions is going to be about your career and what you're studying currently.
So, what made you want to study behavioral science?
I worked at a summer camp before I went into my freshman year, and initially I was going into education. And basically, the summer before, I just dealt with so many kids' uh, mental health,
Yeah,
and I ended up being really good at it and really liking it. And I
Good
was
for
like, oh,
you.
yeah, I was like, this is something that maybe I should explore more. And that's what got me interested in this stuff. And I've always kind of, I think, been that person who people talk to about how they're feeling. And I just wanted to actually get some structure in how I could possibly help people more.
That's amazing, especially if people have like repeatedly told you, like, oh, you're good at this. And then you're like, okay, yeah. But then you're like, actually, I am good at this and I want to like further this. So, I'm glad that you're doing something that you like and that you're good at, you know?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, with that being said, are you currently enrolled in like an internship or a part time job?
I'm not. I'm actually right now, I took this semester off from school and I've been waitressing and saving up a ton of money. I've taken a breather from building towards my career to kind of, I don't know, figure out where I want to go next, because I think I'm a little nervous that once I start my internship and start networking, that I'm gonna slowly get swept away into building that life before I can kind of travel a bit and, I don't know, build my own experiences outside of work.
Definitely. Definitely. That's amazing too that you were like, this is what's going to be right for me and like the best for me.
Yeah, still figuring that out always, but it's doing good for me right now.
That's really good.
Yeah.
so our last couple questions for Bridget today are about advice. So, my first question is, what advice would you give a current YHS student?
Hmm. I don't know. I think just be nice to everyone, because you never know who might end up being a really great friend and who might end up being an enemy. And if you treat everyone the same, you kind of set yourself up for more success.
That's
Definitely.
really good advice, actually. um, and our last question today is there anything else you would like to tell us about?
Hmm. Um, I think that you guys are just in really good hands in this class and in our school. We've got a lot of great resources, and I'm glad you're taking advantage of classes like this and different electives. We're really lucky from where we come from, and I think once you get outside of the town, you see that not everyone had the same resources. So it's good that you guys are getting after different opportunities, and I hope you keep doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
That was really good advice. Thank you, Bridget, for taking the time to talk with Emma and I about your time at York and your life after and all your experiences and what you're still currently experiencing. And we hope that you continue to succeed in your career and you're going to figure it out and it's all going to be okay and you're doing great. So keep going with it.
Thank you so much. Same to you guys. I can't wait to see